everybody, this is Bill the Adjuster with your latest smart claim tip. I think I have a claim. Now what? This is probably the generic question that gets asked so often. Most people are unsure whether or not the value of a claim or the value of a loss makes sense to file. And I think if you follow these basic steps, you'll have a better understanding of, do you have a claim or not? All right, let's just say you took a look at the floor and you saw water damage. So this could be an underground pipe, this could be a leaking toilet from the other side of the wall, this could be coming from the ceiling, sitting in the joints of the floor, but obviously something's going on here that you have damage to your property. So the first question we need to determine is, do I have coverage? It's not an easy answer. So fire, for example, is almost always covered, right? Even the most basic of homeowner policies cover fire unless you intentionally cause the loss. You're pretty good. But water losses themselves are tricky. There are many ways for water to be covered or not covered, depending on which way it came out of the system, depending on where the pipe originates from, depending on where the pipe is located in the property. These can all be challenges to get a water loss covered. And again, they are complex, specific to your policy. Roof leaks as well. So if the water's coming in from your roof, it's possible that you have what we call a wind required opening policy, where they need to actually specifically show where the wind may have created damage that allow the water to enter. But there's also policies that say no matter where it came in, we allow for coverage. But that's for the inside. The outside becomes a whole nother story. Whether or not wear and tear is related, whether or not the age of your roof is repairable or not, whether or not you have a policy that allows for that. So roof leaks and water losses tend to be tough. So basically, plumbing losses can be really complicated. Pipes underneath slabs, depending on which way water flows. Is it a drain line? How long was it leaking? Policies have specific language that generally exclude losses that happen over a period of, and most of them say 14 days or longer. And then the sump pump, the basement loss. The basement loss generally needs specific coverage. Rarely do you find a policy, not that it is out there, by the way, but rarely do you find a policy that includes sump pump coverage without a specific endorsement adding that coverage. So the other one is it worth filing my claim? I have a $1,000 deductible. I have a $2,500 deductible. I've seen $5,000 deductibles. So does it make sense? There's a calculus there. Is my deductible going to be the issue? Meaning, does it make sense if I file the claim and they actually don't even make a payment because it falls under my deductible? The other common question I hear every day is, are my rates going to go up? And I can give you a pretty solid answer here. For the most part, no. I've seen rate policies that have rate increases for about 10% of premium for a 3-year period. And that's a rarity, by the way, but that's one of the worst forms I've seen. So if your policy is $1,500 a year, you may end up with a $150 surcharge for 3 years. $450 has to be taken into the consideration for how that claim, is it worth the dollars to file it. And for the most part, like I said, rates don't go up with a single claim as long as you don't have them stacked year after year. What are the ramifications if I don't file the claim? Well, here's the toughest one. If you don't file the claim, most policies contain a statute of limitation that is highly restrictive, meaning if you don't file it within a year, you may never be able to file that claim again. So you do have a decision to make whether or not you file the claim. You can't just put it off and say, I'll wait 10 years till it gets worse, or I'll file it later when I'm not sure before I sell the house. You name it. But for the most part, not filing a claim can be more damaging than getting a good answer on, is this claim worthy of filing? So at the end, the question is, was it all worth it? Making sure you're fully indemnified for the loss, making sure that all covered losses are paid, meaning the personal property, if you had additional living expenses, the building damages, the code coverages, all of the bonus coverages on your policy, landscaping. You might have what's called green coverage. Green coverage allows for upgrades to sustainable materials, more efficient HVAC equipment, and potentially green roofing. Solar panels can actually be covered by your insurance company under certain policies in the event of a large structural loss. So taking it all into consideration, at the end of the claim, You may want to seek some professional advice to make sure that you got the full value out of your claim and to make sure that all of those coverages were fully paid out. Hopefully that made sense, gave you a little bit of help on whether or not it's worth filing a claim. Next time you see a water stain or some damage to your property, it's a pretty good idea to look into it and make sure that you're not letting go and potentially losing the rights to file that claim under the statute of limitations. If you have a specific claim question, you can send me an email at smartclaim@metropa.com or anyone who shared this video with you. Again, thanks very much. This is Bill the Adjuster, and I really hope you enjoyed the tip.